Brahman, we are Brahman, you are Brahman, the material nature is Brahman, and ultimately there's only one Brahman, which is impersonal. This is their idea. We say no, Sarvam Kalvidam Brahma means that the Para Brahman is situated even in the atom. And therefore, when we look at the building or the wall, or you sit on your sofa, or your glasses, anything with atoms, the Paramatma is residing within the atoms. And therefore, we have Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagawan, 3 stages of God realization. Okay, let's do the, has everybody got the, well, he's written it out for us. Although the Vedas have recommended worship of different demigods, this is where we are. Is everyone there? Let's do the prayer then. You start off, Jai Shri Krishna Prabhu.
Krishna, 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 Hey.
Krishna, 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 Hey.
Gemma.
Krishna, Krishna,
Rakshamam.
Krishna, 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 Rakshamam.
Sachin. Krishna, Krishna, Pahimam.
Krishna, 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 Pahimam.
Ram Raghava, Ram Raghava, Ram Raghava, Rakshamam. Jai Shri Krishna Prabhu.
Krishna Kesha, Krishna Kesha, Krishna Kesha, Pahimam.
So in this reading of Krishna book, by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, who stated on record that when he was translating this over dictaphone in the early morning hours, Krishna was coming and personally speaking this Krishna book. Prabhupada said, I have no credit with the Krishna book. This is Krishna speaking, God personally speaking to us, his Leela. That's why the words should not be changed in the book. Very important. Okay, go ahead, Prabhuji.
Okay. Although the Vedas have recommended worship of different demigods as different parts and parcel of Krishna, it is to be understood that such instructions are meant for less intelligent men who are still attracted by material sense enjoyment. But the persons who actually want perfect fulfillment, the mission of human life, should simply worship Lord Krishna. And that will simplify the matter and completely guarantee the success of his human life. Although the sky, the water, and the land are all part of the material world, when one stands on the solid land, his position is more secure than when he stands in the sky or the water. An intelligent person, therefore, does not stand under the protection of different demigods, although they are part and parcel of Krishna. Rather, he stands on the solid ground of Krishna consciousness. That makes his position sound and secure.
Very nice. Yes, studying Krishna consciousness, the demigods may be compared to being in a boat on water. So we all know when we're on the water, either we're on a boat or we are swimming, our position is not very secure. Who is a good swimmer here? Who can swim well? Who sinks like a stone when they go in the water? So we can all understand that being in water is not a very stable situation. And if we panic in water, we can very easily take in the water and we are drowning. If we breathe in water, we're not drinking it, we're breathing into the lung. The lung will fill up and very quickly we can lose consciousness and we can drown. But standing on the land, we are very secure. So Krishna consciousness may be compared to standing on solid land. Okay, Archana.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
In personalists sometimes give the example that if one stand on a stone or a piece of wood, one certainly stand on the surface of the land, because the stone and wood both rest on the surface of the earth. But it may be replied that if one stand directly on the surface of the earth, he is more secure than if he stand on wood or stone that rest on the earth. In other words, taking shelter of Paramatma or taking shelter of impersonal Brahmana is not as secure as course of taking direct shelter of Krishna in Krishna consciousness. The position of the Jnanis and the Yogis is therefore not as secure as the position of the devotee of Krishna. Lord Krishna has therefore advised in Bhagavad Gita that only a person who has lost his sense take to the worship of demigods. And regarding persons attached to the impersonal Brahman, Srimad Bhagavatam says, my dear Lord, those who think of themselves as liberated by mental speculations are not as purified of the contaminations of material nature because of their inability to find the shelter of your lotus feet. Although they rise to the transcendental situation of existence in impersonal Brahman, they certainly fall from the exalted position because they deride your lotus feet. Lord Krishna therefore advised that the worshippers of the demigods are not very intelligent persons because they derive only temporary exotable results. Their endeavors are those of less intelligent men. On the other hand, the Lord assured that his devotees has no fear of falling.
Yes, impersonal merging into Brahman, as the Mayavadis recommend, that Sarvam Kalvidam Brahma, everything is Brahman, and therefore I am Brahman, Anksha Bhagavatosmi Aham, Aham Brahmasmi. Who's heard of this statement? Aham Brahmasmi.
Me.
Have you heard of? Yeah, Gemma?
Yeah, I've heard of it.
Aham. How about Sachin? Have you heard of it, Prabhu?
No, Prabhuji.
Aham Brahmasmi means I am Brahman. So the impersonalists who like to make out that but there's no Bhagwan. Even Bhagwan, he is subservient to Brahman. Now in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Brahmano hi pratisht aham. Can we all say this together? Brahmano hi.
Brahmano.
Archana, Brahmano hi
Brahmano hi
pratisht aham.
Patishthaham.
Pratisht aham.
Patishthaham.
Now what this means, according to the Bhakti school, the school of Bhakti, we are in the school of Bhakti. We're not in the school of Brahman or Brahma Gyan. And therefore, it means that Brahman, Krishna is the Pratishta of Brahman. Pratishta means the foundation. He is the solid basis of Brahman. In other words, Brahman, in the form of Brahma Jyoti, is coming from Bhagwan. But the Mayavadis, the impersonalists, they will say, no, Brahmano hi pratishtaham means that Krishna is coming from Brahman. Understand? Brahmano hi pratishta. This means that Krishna is actually coming from Brahman, just like you and me. And Krishna, he's just a lucky man. He's called Bhagavan, means you're fortunate. This is how Mayavadis, impersonalists, they use what we call dukrit. Dukrit means to adjust the words, adjusting the meanings. Very expert, as Shankaracharya has said in his prayer, Bhaja Govinda, Bhaja Govinda, Bhaja Govinda Mudha Mate, Samprapte Sanidham. Yes, you know this?
Yeah, I studied this previously.
You say it, you tell me.
Pajagovindam, 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 Muddamate, Dr. Sunny, Vite Marne, Nay Rakshati, Dukri Karne.
Nahi nahi not rakshati, dukrint, karane, dukrin. Dukrin means your grammatical adjustments, your vyakaram, changing the meaning. That Brahmano hi pratishtaham means that Brahman is, Krishna is coming from Brahman. No, the exact meaning is that Brahman is coming from Bhagawan. Therefore, we have a shloka that we learn, Srimad Bhagavatam 1-11. We've already done this before. Sachin, do you know Srimad Bhagavatam 1-11? Sachin comes to our shloka class.
Yes, Prabhu, let me revise actually.
Go on, Vadanti Tattva Vidas. No, if you don't know it, it doesn't matter. It's okay. If you've forgotten, don't worry.
Vadanti Tatvedas Tatvam Yasgyanam Advayam Brahmoti Param Atmeti Bhagavan iti Sabdate.
Atat,
प्रभु जी आए हैं इन्हें हिंदी
Hindi mein.
परम सत्य को जानने वाले विद्वान अध्यात्मवादी इस अद्वैत तत्व को ब्रह्म परमात्मा या भगवान के नाम से पुकारते हैं.
Very nice. So the learned, Vedanti means those who are learned, those who are professors of Shastra, people who have studied all different type of Vedas, Upanishads, Puranas, Itihasas. They're very, very learned. Vedanti tattva, and they understand the tattva, the absolute truth, which is advayam. It's not impersonal, it's non-dual. Non-dual. The absolute truth is non-dual, meaning that there are three phases of understanding this non-dual substance: Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagawan. And each one has a different function. Brahman, for example, Brahman means that the Lord, the God, Bhagawan, he gives us an opportunity to merge into him if we want to. He's so kind. He says, yes, you want to be God? Come on then, you can merge into me. Just like when the Asuras, like Agasura, Vyomashura, Bhakasura, Trinavarta, Shakatasura, these all came to kill Krishna. When the Krishna killed them, the Atma merged into his body, meaning they got Sayuja Mukti. So this is a very important thing to understand. We should be very strong on this, because when we meet Mayavadis, we have to be very strong. We have to show them that we have more knowledge than them, because Mayavadis are very tricky with their arguments. So we have to be more tricky than them. We have to double up on them to make, because their business is changing, adjusting the meaning, which is confusing us. So we have to be very, when I was a young brahmachari, I met many Mayavadis. They confused me so much. I had to really learn hard. Okay.
So, Prabhuji, is that Mayavadi means like the people who argue about our scriptures and Vedas? When you say Mayavadi.
Yeah, the Mayavadis are the followers of Shankaracharya. And another name for Mayavadis is the Vedantists. They're called Vedantists.
So,
they shave their head, but they don't keep shika. They cut the shika, no shika. Shika is there. Do you know why we keep shika, the men? Do you know why we keep a shika?
I read it, but I can't remember.
Yes, we keep shika for two reasons. One is a shika means a teacher. that your teacher, that's number one, Brahmin. Brahmin means patam, patan, yajan, yajan, dan, patigraha. 6 things. A Brahmin. Yajan, yajan. He performs yaj. I'm going to Swindon on Saturday to do a Satyanarayan puja. And Sachin is coming with his family as well. So we'll do that puja with a yaj, homa. We'll do a homa there. And everyone will throw swaha, you know, like we do the yaj. And then we'll do a katha with it about Vishnu and Narada. So that we're doing on Saturday. This is Patan, Yajan Yajan, Patan Patan. They study, Pata, Pat. They study and they teach. But you can't teach if you're not studying. So we have to keep constantly hearing so that we are able to help others. And dhan patigraha. Dhan means give charity, patigraha, accept. So it's not that a Brahmin, he's only patigraha. Give me the money. Give me the money. No, Brahmin means he has to give. Dhan first, then patigraha. So Brahmins, they are expected to give, be very charitable, to give charity, giving, and also they are qualified to accept. But if a Brahmin is seen to only be taking money, but he's not giving, he's not qualified. He is what we call a Brahma Bandhu. Can we all say that, please? Brahma Bandhu.
Brahma Bandhu.
A Brahma Bandhu is a Brahmin who is like a relative or friend of Brahmin. He's not the actual Brahmin. There's a lot of people like that. The Brahmins, they think because I'm a Brahmin, you have to give me money. This is wrong. Very wrong. This is Kali Yuga. This is a Kali Yuga Brahmin. Wrong altogether. Okay, Sachin, the next one, Prabhu. Next paragraph.
Okay, Prabhuji, let me turn. Yeah. The personified Vedas continued to pray, Dear Lord, considering all points of view, if a person has to worship someone superior to himself, then just out of good behavior, he should stick to the worship of your lotus feet because you are the ultimate controller of the creation, maintenance, and dissolution. You are the controller of 3 words, Bhu, Bhuva, Bhu, Bhuva, Swaha. You are the controller of 14 upper and lower words, and you are the controller of the 3 material qualities. Demigods and the persons advanced in spiritual knowledge always hear and chant about your transcendental pastime because this process has the specific potency of nullifying the accumulated result of sinful life. Intelligent persons factually deep into the ocean of your nectarine activities and very patiently hear about them. Thus, they are immediately freed from the contamination of the material qualities. They do not have to undergo severe penance and austerities for advancements in the spiritual life. This chanting and hearing of your transcendental pastime is the easiest process of self-realization simply by submissive oral reception of the transcendental message. One's heart is cleansed of all dirty things. Thus, Krishna consciousness becomes fixed in the heart of devotees. The great authority Bhishma Dev has also given opinion that this process of chanting and hearing about the Supreme Personality of Godhead is the highest religious process, and the Taittiriya Upanishad says that worship of the Supreme Personality of Godhead is the essence of all Vedic ritualistic performances.
Oh, very nice. Yes, these are different authorities now. Bhishma Dev is called a Mahajan. How many Mahajans are there?
There are 12.
12. 12 Mahajans. Yes, that's right. Sachin and Gemma. 12 Mahajans. Lord Shiva is Mahajan. Yamaraj is Mahajan. Shukadev is a Mahajan. Janak Raj is a Mahajan. Kapila, Narad. There are many, many Mahajan, 12, who are,
Bhishma Dev. Right.
yeah. Bhishma Dev himself is considered a Mahajan. Mahajan means an authority. Mahajana yena kata sapanta. Can we all repeat this, please? Mahajana yena,
Mahajanayena,
Mahajana yena,
Mahajanayena,
gata
Gata.
Gata,
sapanta. Sapanta.
Panta.
Sapanta.
Sapanta. This is taken from a very famous verse where it is very difficult by studying the Vedas to come to the conclusion that Krishna is Bhagwan. It's very, very difficult to come to the conclusion. So by following the Mahajans, then we can come to the correct conclusion. And sometimes there's some debate or on some philosophical point. Well, Narada says this. Bhishma says this. Lord Shiva says this. So Yamaraj is saying this. So when we quote the great Mahajanas, our philosophical point can be established. That's why we have these great Mahajanas. Another one is for I think Manu. I think Manu is a Mahajan.
Yeah.
No.
Anyway, I'm just going through the different in my mind. These great personalities who are Mahajanas. Okay, Mahajana means a great personality. Mahajana. Okay, Gemma, carry on.
Sorry. Dear Lord, the personified Vedas continued. The devotee who wants to elevate himself simply by the process of devotional activities, especially by hearing and chanting, very soon comes out of the clutches of the dualities of material existence. By this simple process of penance and austerity, the supersoul within the devotee's heart is very pleased and gives the devotee direction so that he may go back home, back to Godhead. It is stated in the Bhagavad Gita that one who engages all his activities and senses in the devotional service of the Lord becomes completely peaceful because the supersoul is satisfied with him. Thus, the devotee becomes transcendental to all dualities such as heat and cold, honor and dishonor. Being freed from all dualities, he feels transcendental bliss, and he no longer suffers cares and anxieties due to material existence. The Bhagavad Gita confirms that the devotee, always absorbed in Krishna consciousness, has no anxieties for his maintenance or protection. Being constantly absorbed in Krishna consciousness, he ultimately achieves the highest perfection. While in material existence, he lives very peacefully and blissfully, without cares and anxieties, and after quitting this body, he goes back home, back to Godhead. The Lord confirms in the Bhagavad Gita, my supreme abode is a transcendental place from which, having gone, one never returns to this material world. Anyone who attains the supreme perfection, being engaged in my personal devotional service in the eternal abode, which is the highest perfection of human life, and does not have to come back to the miserable material world.
Yeah, these are different statements from Bhagavad Gita mainly, where Krishna is saying that my one who comes back to me never returns again to this world of birth, repeated birth and death. And this is technically called moksha, technically, or mukti, But unfortunately, people who are not Vadanti. What does Vadanti mean?
Is it speaking or
Vada means to speak, yes. Vadanti.
no?
Vadanti tat tatva vidas. We just did the shloka. Vadanti. It means learned.
Oh.
Who are very learned. Those people, very learned people, they understand that mukti isn't just one type of mukti. How many types of mukti are there? Jai Shri Krishna Prabhu, how many types of mukti? Kitna? Ketla? Ketla che?
I know couple of them.
Ek?
Sahyujya Mukti.
Yes, Sayuja is the lowest mukti. It's the basic mukti, which is for asuras. The asuras and those who are envious of Bhagwan, the Mayavadi, they get Sayuja. Then another mukti,
The Swarupya Mukti.
Sarupya,
That's it. No.
Lokya,
No.
Salokya,
Swalokya Mukti.
Salokya mukti, then Samipya and Sashti. Okay, these are the Panch Vidha Mukti. Panch Vidha Mukti. But most people, they only know one Mukti. They're not learned. They don't understand what Mukti is. Mukti Pradata Salvesham Vishnu Eva Nasangshayaha. This is Lord Shiva in Padma Purana. He's describing Mukti. Mukti Pradata Salvesham, of all kinds of Mukti, is given by only Vishnu. He said, Shiva said, even I cannot give Mukti. Even though Shiva is so great, his power is limited to this world. Devi Dham and Kailash Dham. Shiva is not a Vaikuntha deity. He is Vishnu, transformed into Bhutanath, or the Lord of this world. This is Shiva's world with Devi, with Durga. That's why people on Praviti Marg, who knows what Praviti Marg is? The Praviti Marg. Gemma?
No, I've heard of it, but I can't remember.
Marg means
Route.
road, path.
Road.
Okay, Praviti. The
The
path,
activities. Is it Pravruti or Pragati?
Pravriti.
That's activities?
Yes, Praviti means the path of material progress. Nivriti, the path of spiritual progress. So Praviti, the path of material progress. That is explained by Kunti Devi. We looked at this last week, I think, in Teachers of Queen Kunti, that Janmaishvarya Shuta Shri Bir. She said that people want Janma, good birth. Good birth means you're born into a rich family. You're not born into a poor family where you're living in a very rich family. And Aishvarya, plenty of money, nice people. Shruta means good intelligence, good education. Shribir, beautiful, nice looking body, very attractive. People look at you and they look again. Look once, they go like this. This is, people want this because these are the material path of material progress. So that's Praviti Marg. So following Praviti Marg is recommended to worship Shiva and Parvati. That is recommended in the Shastra. But those who want Nivriti Marg, they worship Lord Krishna and Vishnu. And therefore, in the Bhrigu Muni, he finds it strange that people are worshipping Shiva for money. They go to Lord Shiva and pray to him for a lot of money, success, to be a big success in life, having 3 Mercedes cars in the garage, a Porsche, maybe a Jaguar or Ferrari, having a lot of money, lot of success. And Shiva himself, he lives like a poor man. Lord Shiva, he lives in Kailash, under in a cave or under a tree. He's wearing the deer skin, and he's doing dhyan and tapasya. Yet they're worshipping him for money and wealth. And Shiva and Krishna, he's very wealthy, very, very rich. Dwarkadish, Aishwarya, he's extremely opulent. Krishna, yet the ones who worship him, they're poor. They're poor, garib. Gemma, garib means poor in Hindi. What's it in Gujarati? Poor. When you're bina paisa, you have no money.
Isn't it same garib or
Oh, it's the
kangar?
same, garib.
Yeah.
Garib log. So, you know, when you're poor, garib, the devotees of Krishna, he said, your devotees look at Sudama. He didn't have any money to even give rice to Krishna. He had to borrow it from the next door neighbor. His wife had to go next door. Please give us a little rice. We haven't got anything. Very poor. Yet Krishna is very rich. And then Shiva is very poor. But his followers, Kuvera, is the prime example of Shiva Bhakta. Kuverji, the richest man in the universe, is Kuvera. Actually, I was thinking of Kuvera. I was thinking of Chitragupta when I was thinking of Jai Shri Krishna earlier on, not Kuvera. Chitragupta is an accountant. I got the wrong one there. Okay, so these are some points. Okay, Jai Shri Krishna, carry on, Prabhu.
Personified Vedas continued. Dear Lord, it is imperative that the living entities be engaged in Krishna consciousness, always rendering devotional service by such prescribed methods as hearing and chanting and executing your orders. If a person is not engaged in Krishna consciousness and devotional service, it is useless for him to exhibit the symptoms of life. Generally, if a person is breathing, he is accepted to be alive, but a person without Krishna consciousness may be compared to a bellows in a blacksmith's shop. The big bellows is a bag of skin which exhales and inhales air, and a human being who simply lives within the bag of skin and bones without taking to Krishna consciousness and loving devotional service is no better than the bellows. Similarly, a non-devotee's long duration of life is compared to a long existence of a tree. His voracious eating capacity is compared to the eating of dogs and hogs. His enjoyment in sex life is compared to that of hogs and goats.
Yeah, this is definitely Shukadev Goswami's rendition in the first canto of how the non-devotee is compared to a dead body, basically, that they have life, but their lungs are compared to the blacksmith's bellows. And they're simply they're not exhibiting their real life. Krishna consciousness is the real life. So right now we're on the path here of awakening. It's called the awakening stage. that we're gradually awakening to our real life. It takes time. Bhaktisiddhanta has called an advanced stage of awakening as anusmaran. Can we all say that, please? Anusmaran. Anusmaran means that you start, as you're awakening in spiritual life, hearing Krishna Katha, chanting Krishna Nam, doing some puja, sadhu sangha, taking prasad. Gradually, we start recollecting. We start to remember Krishna in this way and that way. We start to remember our real life. It's called anusmaran. Because remember, we are eternal. So before we came into this world, which was very, very, very long time ago, we existed eternally in that spiritual abode in the Vaikunthas, eternally. And gradually, we'll start remembering that, because that's the real life. Okay, Archana, carry on.
The cosmic manifestation has been made possible because of the entrance of Supreme Personality of Godhead as Mahavishnu within his material world. The total material energy is agitated by the glance of Mahavishnu, and only then does the interaction of the three material qualities begin. Therefore, it should be concluded that whatever material facilities we are trying to enjoy are available only due to the mercy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead.
Yes, Prabhu. Sachin.
Within the body, there are few different departments of existence known as Annamaya, Pranmaya, Manomaya, Vijan and at least Anandamaya. In the beginning of life, every living entity is food conscious. A child or an animal is satisfied only by getting nice food. This stage of consciousness in which the goal is to eat sumptuously, I don't know, is called Annamaya. Anna means food. After this, one lives in the consciousness of being alive. If one can continue his life without being attacked or destroyed, one thinks himself happy. Stage is called pranmaya or consciousness of one existence. After this stage, when one is situated on the mental platform, his consciousness is called manomaya. The materialistic civilization is primarily situated in these three stages: Annamaya, Pranmaya, and Manomaya. The first concern of civilized person is economic development, and next concern is defense against being annihilated, and the next consciousness is mental speculation and philosophical approach of the values of life.
Yeah, so this is again the same point. Annamaya, these are the five Panch Vidya Jivan. Bhautik Jivan. Bhautik Jivan. Gemma, Bhautik Jivan means the material life in Hindi. Okay?
Yeah.
Jivan means life and Bhautik is material. To deal with the Bhuta, this material energy. Panch Mahabhut. Okay? You're learning Hindi tonight, Hindi lesson. So these three stages are 90% of the world population are situated in this Annamaya, Pranamaya, Manomaya stage. A lot of people are in this Annamaya and Pranamaya, which is the tongue, satisfying the tongue, very much so, and the body. Tongue and the body. Some of them are mental, some of them are more intellectual. They come to Manomaya. They're using their intellect, their mind, memory, etc. So that is, most people are on that level. Then we're coming to the next stage. Carry on, Gemma.
If by the evolutionary process of philosophical life one happens to reach the platform of intellectual life and understands that he is not this material body but a spiritual soul, he is situated in the Vijnana Maya state. Then by evolution in spiritual life he comes to the understanding of the Supreme Lord or the Supreme Soul. When one develops his relationship with him and executes devotional service, that stage of life is called Krishna consciousness, the Anandamaya stage. Anandamaya is the blissful life of knowledge and eternity. As it is said in the Vedanta Sutra, Anandamayo Vyasat, the Supreme Brahman and the subordinate Brahman, or the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and the living entities are both joyful by nature. As long as the living entities are situated in the lower four stages of life, Annamaya, Pranamaya, Manomaya, and Vijnanamaya, they are considered to be in the material condition of life. But as soon as one reaches the stage of Anandamaya, he is a liberated soul. This Anandamaya stage is explained in the Bhagavad Gita as the Brahma Bhuta stage. There it is said, in the Brahma Bhuta stage of life, there is no anxiety and no hankering. This stage begins when one is equally disposed toward all living entities, and it then expands to the stage of Krishna consciousness, in which one always hankers to render service unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This hankering for advancement in devotional service is not the same as hankering for sense gratification in material existence. In other words, hankering remains in spiritual life, but it becomes purified. Similarly, when our senses are purified, they are freed from all material stages, namely Annamaya, Pranamaya, Manomaya, and Vijnanamaya, and they become situated in the highest stage, Anandamaya, or blissful life in Krishna consciousness. The Mayavadi philosophers consider Anandamaya to be the state of being merged in the Supreme. To them, Anandamaya means that the super soul and the individual soul become one. But the real fact is that oneness does not mean merging into the Supreme and losing one's own individual existence. Merging into the spiritual existence is the living entity's realization of qualitative oneness with the Supreme Lord in his aspects of eternity and knowledge. But the actual Anandamaya blissful stage is when one is engaged in devotional service. That is confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita. Mad Bhaktim Labhate Param. Here, Lord Krishna states that the Brahma Bhuta Anandamaya stage is complete only when there is an exchange of love between the Supreme and the subordinate living entities. Unless one comes to this Anandamaya stage, his breathing is like the breathing of a bellows in a blacksmith's shop. His duration of life is like that of a tree, and he is no better than the lower animals like camels, hogs, and dogs.
Yeah, and that can be verified because if one is in the lower stage of existence or consciousness and doesn't make the effort to ask the correct questions, even though the questions come in their mind, the curiosity is coming, but it is stamped out like a fire. If you see these fires in Greece now, in Canada, they're coming up. People, sometimes you see the fire, you stamp it out. You see, who stamped the fire out? Who's done that? Stamped the fire out. Yes, have you ever stamped the fire out, Archana? You've seen
I can't remember, but I have seen it lots of
some
times.
grass is burning somewhere, you stamp it out. Or
Yeah.
paper is burning in the kitchen, stamp it out. So people do this to their inquisitive nature. Paramatma is in the heart. He is trying to enlighten the soul. Samane vrikshe purushone magno. This is explained in the Svedashvatara and the Katha Upanishad. Famous verse, Samane Vrikshe, Purusho Nimagno. There, in the vriksha, in the tree of this body, there is two beings. There's the Purusha and there's the Jiva. The Purusha is Paramatma and the Jiva. And the Paramatma is always trying to enlighten the Jiva, the soul. But what do? When we start to, when the question comes up, we stamp it out like that. We put out the inquisitiveness. People do this all the time. I used to do it before. I can remember questions would come up and I would stamp them out. I would forget them. So the Anandamoya, the Vijnanamoya stage is this inquisitiveness, and when we're inquisitive enough, then we start awakening by asking the right questions and getting them answered. This is what Prabhupada has done. Prabhupada is answering the questions that we have. And that's why we're here today, because in his books, all the questions are being answered. Very nice. Even questions that we can't think of. Even the questions we can't think of, they're being answered for us. I was quite amazed when I read Prabhupada's books and they would be asking questions that I could never think of. So we are at this stage of awakening, and the Anandamoya stage is we're starting to remember who we are, who we really are, beyond the body, beyond the mind, beyond the intelligence. So this is the Krishna consciousness stage that we're on. So any points before we finish, Gemma?
No.
Sachin?
No, Prabhuji.
Jai Shri Krishna, Prabhu. Well, Archana, it's up to you now. Vijnanamoya. So, yes?
Yeah, I just feel like some of the paragraph is not easy to understand it, but I don't know. It's not, straightforward for me. Also.
Well, yeah, there are 5 stages. Prabhupada's making the point. Panchvidha Jivan, okay? There's 5 stages of life in this world, in the Bautik Jivan. In the eternal world, there's 1 stage, Ananda. It's only Anand. Just imagine no pain, no fear, no sadness, no feeling of failure, just happy and satisfied. Actually, Ananda means that you're satisfied. Santosh is the word. You heard of this word, Santosh? Yes?
Jai Jai Satoshi Mata Jai Jai Ma.
Santosh, completely satisfied. Tosh means to be satisfied. So when we're satisfied, like you've just eaten something nice, you feel full, you feel, I'm satisfied. That's a reflection. That's not real satisfaction, but it gives us an idea. But real satisfaction, when you come to that, tears come from your eyes. Your hair stands on end. You faint. This is called Ashtasattvika Bhav in Sanskrit. There are 8 symptoms of spiritual happiness, spiritual ecstasy, ecstatic symptoms. When you find real satisfaction, it's like, it's something we've completely forgotten. That is called Anandamoya. So that is what we're aiming for. But now we're in the stage of Ana, Prana, Mana, and Vijnanamoya. We are actually more, devotees are more on Vijnanamoya and we're reaching for Anandamoya. We're reaching for that. And we get it in the pages of the Krishna book. When we read Krishna book here, we get some anand when we're reading Krishna book, and especially Krishna's Leela. Now we have some Shruti Gyan here. This is more philosophy, but it's also good because it helps us understand that there are 5 stages of material life. So now you know, Archana, Annamaya, Pranamaya, Manamoya, Vijnana, Anandamaya. So, you know, the different species of life also, like fish, they're very controlled by their tongue. The tongue. The fish get caught by their mouth. When you go fishing, how do they catch the fish? They catch it here. The fish is like this. Because that's how you catch a fish, through the tongue. So different species of life are also pertaining to this Annamoya, Pranamoya, Manamoya, Vijnanamoya, and then Anandamoya. We're looking for this. There's lots of ways of looking at that. Okay, so we shall see you next week. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Hare
General
Krishna,
on Friday. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Sachin.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Take care. See you on Saturday, Sachin.
Okay, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Haribo, Jai Shri Krishna.
Jai Shri Krishna, have a lovely katha.
Thank you.